What's up guys, Will here today, and I have a special question of the day for all you guys out there, and it's this: which store or restaurant would you choose to be trapped in if you were to be trapped in that store for the rest of your life? Now, I thought about this myself when I was going to the store this morning, and I pretty much decided on the spot because the store I was in was definitely the one to be in. And that store is Costco. So for those of you who don't know what Costco is, it's pretty much a wholesale store. And what that means is it sells stuff that it's purchased in bulk. And when I mean in bulk, I mean they've bought like hundreds and hundreds of boxes of that stuff, and they've stacked it up for you to see, and they're reselling it for a much cheaper price than you would see at supermarkets and stuff like that. And so that's the general idea behind it, and you can buy pretty much anything at these stores because they're so big. Now, other than Costco, the only other big one I know is BJ's. They both have that same red symbol, but I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. But other than that, let me explain to you guys what was going on. So I was just walking around the store thinking of, stuff to do for my videos, and I was thinking, what store would be best if I were to be trapped here for the rest of my life? And, my selfish self would think Best Buy or Circuit City or GameStop. But then when you think about it, if I'm trapped there for the rest of my life, sure, I could play games to my heart's delight for the first 2 weeks or so, but then after that, I'll probably die of starvation, if not dehydration, and it'll be an excruciatingly painful death. So, for me, I definitely think Costco is the way to go because, one, the store is so huge, first off. Compared to a supermarket like Giant, it's got much more food and much more variety because it's just so big, and that could probably last the rest of my life. I was actually walking through Costco this morning, and I looked at this just one pile of boxes of almond cookies, and I told myself, if I ate one box per day, I honestly don't think I would finish all these boxes in the next 30 years. And that's just one pile out of the hundreds of piles at Costco. And another thing is, if you don't know, at Costco, they freaking sell, they give out free samples of a bunch of stuff. On a typical weekend, you'll be having at least 5 or 6 different sample stations of food that they're giving out for free. Now, I'll do a whole nother video on this, but I used to go there, and sometimes they would sell really good. Well, they wouldn't sell it. They would give them for free. They'd give out free samples of something really good, and I just liked it so much that I ended up sneaking like quite a few samples. But that's for another video. If you guys want to watch that, leave a comment. But for this video, for those samples sections, they pretty much give out samples for a whole variety of stuff, ranging from, snacks to complex gourmet food. And for example, one of the things they sold was this spinach dipped pasta thing. Like, the inside was like this spinach ravioli sauce, and then the outside was coated in this white dough, and then that was dipped in a different type of spinach. Believe it or not, those stands are actually made up of a whole bunch of stuff from different sections of Costco. I'm talking, they get the stove from one part of Costco, they get the soup and the dressing from another part, and then they get the pasta, and then they get the coals and then the lighter from another part of Costco, and then they heat it all up and then make the samples for you guys. So that's actually how it works, and just that should tell you alone why Costco is the way to go if you want to survive in one store, because maybe, zombies are outside and you can't go outside. You'd probably last there for the rest of your life. Other than that, let me tell you what I would do at Costco. if you don't know, Costco sells pretty much everything. Okay, I walked there today and they sold 20 different types of TVs at least. They sold obviously the standard video game consoles, PS3 and Xbox 360, as well as camcorders, laptops, phones, all the latest phones, and a bunch of clothing. So I was freaking there and I was like, I would seriously, on my first 2 weeks of my entrapment in the store, I would just, get the PS3 and the Xbox, find the largest, best TV they had, and then hook that up. And then, maybe I would play with some of the phones there. They got the new Galaxy X S3, which is probably one of the best phones on the market right now. And then I would play with that. And then, personally, I think the rules of the story are you still get Wi-Fi, you still get electricity, and the water still runs. So let's just say in this scenario, Wi-Fi still works and everything. So I would email my family and say I'm doing okay, trapped in this store, and then make some phone calls, play some video games, and it'd be a pretty good life for the first few weeks. And then when I got hungry, I could go to all the different parts of Costco and freaking eat whatever I wanted. You got sodas, you got all this gourmet stuff. So if I wanted to get, a certain type of pasta, I could get it. And then I get the stove from the stove section, get the best stove there. And then they even have like specialty heaters. So I would choose the best heater and then, grab that as well. And I would get all this food and then I would get the stove and then I'd make it all myself. Because if you've been to Costco, they've got so much freaking food there. They've got, freaking doughs and freaking pigs, and they even have like rotisserie chickens. And I know you're probably thinking, Will, they're not going to keep importing chickens into the store if you're trapped in. This is probably not going to happen. And I know. In this scenario, I'm going to give you that one. Once I run out of chickens in the store, I'll probably just switch to another food. But there's so much food there, it doesn't really matter. And let's just say, for example, electricity and water was limited. Well, first off, that would mean, freezing was limited, and so the ice cream was going to go fast. If you don't know, they have like 3 aisles of ice creams, and you got all the different ones like the Haagen-Dazs specialty ice creams, and then the drumsticks. And so the first thing I would do if freezing was limited and all the food was going to melt, I would eat all this ice cream, and then after that, and after I'm done with all this food, I would go to the clothing section, and they do got a lot of clothing, and then I just play around with the clothing there. But all in all, when you really think about it, after the maybe first month, or maybe after the first 2 months, because some of these video games are meant to last a couple of months to finish them, but I would say after the first month, I would probably get super bored. I mean, humans are not meant to stay in one place for that long. Boredom was a very essential tool for us, because if we never got bored, we would stick to the same simple stuff all the freaking time, and we would never get anything new or different or better out of life. So honestly, after all the hype of eating God knows how many $1,000 worth of food and video games and TV and stuff, all that is probably gonna get exceptionally boring, and I honestly don't think I would last forever in that store, just due to boredom, not because of life's essentials. And in my experiences, that has been the case before. There have been a few summers in my past where I wouldn't say I got everything I wanted, but as far as food was concerned, I could drive to any of the fast food places in my area at the mall whenever I wanted to, and it got really boring real fast, and there were times when I was just like, I don't feel like eating there, I'm just so sick of it. And the same goes for other stuff, TV, etc. Playing the same video game over and over. And, you know, despite Costco having, you know, so many video games and all this stuff, it's gonna get boring. So that's my moral of the story for you guys. And if you guys want to leave a video response, or maybe in the comments below, what store would you choose and why? And let's keep the trolling aside. You guys probably, let's just say, which store would you choose if you had to live there for a year, not your entire life? Because I honestly don't think I could live at Costco for the rest of my life, despite it being so cool. So leave it in the comments below. And I'm not doing this because I was, you know, paid to do it or anything like that. I just thought Costco was such a cool store today. I actually went there today, and they also have like a food service place after you check out, and you can get stuff there for so cheap because they buy like wholesale frozen and then they make it there. And so because they buy so much, they get it at such a cheap price. I actually got like a large fountain drink, the type where you can get at McDonald's for like $3 or $4. I got that for 50 cents with unlimited refills. At McDonald's you don't get refills. And so that's just one thing of many. Like they had a freaking Italian sausage with peppers, and I got that for $2, and it would cost like $5 elsewhere. So I think Costco is a pretty good store, and you know, I know you have to get a membership to join, but I went in there without a membership, and I got at least the food without, you know, presenting my card for the same price. So this isn't a plug to Costco. Just back to the comments below. Leave your comment. Which store would you choose? You can choose any store or restaurant. Best Buy, you know, GameStop. It could be even freaking McDonald's if you wanted to. And then leave your reason. And if you're brave enough, go ahead and leave your video response. But you don't really need to do that. Just leave your comments below. Or just subscribe to my videos if you haven't. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Subscribe.